I have very practical parents. When I wanted a car, they said, get something practical. The Triumph TR6.
Alright, so this is the bottom of the driver's front fender. And I've been trying to figure out how I want to attack it. So all this is rusted out. So what I'm going to do, this is the patch, the old patch. And the rust pretty much follows under here, all the water it got underneath here. And so I'm just going to cut along this patch, along the top. And then I was trying to figure out how do I recreate this, but then I'll do exactly what this guy did, except he just tack welded over it. But I'll make a butt weld here, and then come straight across. I'll just recreate that. That shouldn't be too bad, I hope. And because it's on that corner, I'll just MIG weld it instead of gas welding. I'll recreate all this geometry from the template I have over there. So, alright, I'll get to it. Alright, so there's a template I made. Just put a bunch of tape down on the other one. Traced out the parts. The only part I really had to measure was this part here to make it match that part there. So I'm just going to cut this out, shape it, and see how it did. I'll leave a little extra here for the flange. There's a flange that goes along the bottom here. And I'll leave a bunch here to, there's a fold, like a stiffening fold that goes along the back. So yeah, I'll just cut that out. See how we do. One thing I forgot to mention is I'm going to use the spring-loaded center punch. I'll just punch a bunch of dots along all these lines on the interior. So it's a handy tool. And that's how I'll get all these lines where I traced on the inside. Okie doke. So got my piece of metal. And I'll get the fold on my little piece of PVC pipe that I use. Alright, so there's the profile of it. And I don't know if you can see just a little bit of surface rust, but there's some score marks for my punch. So I'll get my little Harbor Freight metal brake and put this flange in, and then the top flange. Alright. Alright, so I'm just checking the fit of my patch, and it fits well here. I want the seam to be right here, and then I need to get it to fit a little better through the middle. I think I need to take some out of it here. So I'm just going to use my file and my grinder, which is off camera, and get that down till I like to fit. Alright, so I noticed that this edge wasn't as tight as that edge, so I'm going to tighten it up. It's actually a new addition from earlier this year. I went back to West Virginia and grabbed my grandfather's anvil out of his barn. He passed away, gosh, I don't know, 20 years ago. So I'm sure he'll be happy I'm putting it to use. Alright. Davey, I'm busy! Give me 2 minutes, okay, bud? Alright, so here's the patch. We got it fitting pretty well. And get it lined up. Right, like that. Got a teeny gap here. This gap is actually not as big as it looks. So now I will put in the 3 holes for the mounting holes for the body hardware. Alright, so to do the holes for the hardware, I dug out this little thingamabob. And so I just line it up under these holes and use my ball peen hammer and hammer it out until it kind of fits. Okie doke, so I'm about to weld on the patch. I've got my buddy's Fender there as a guide. I got the protractor there. Let's make sure all the angles are relatively close. I got my magnets, a little bit of tape. So I've actually debated, got my little gap set up, debating welding this from behind and seeing if I get nice penetration. I got a teeny gap there, but I'm not worried about that. So I may tack it from the front. And a couple of guys had asked, you know, here's the old Fender that I cut out. I forget who it was, but here's the bottom of it. So yeah, it was pretty much shot. That's why I got rid of it. So yeah, I'm going to line this up how I like it and tack it and then weld it. I'll probably tack it from the front, weld it from the back, and see how I like it. All right, okay, so we are tacked into place. I'm going to weld it from behind and align that with a hammer and see how we. Okay, so now I'm just making the flange. I took my Dremel. I'm just going to bend these over and weld them up. I'll do the same over there. Sometimes I try and I don't know, get fancy and shrink it. I don't know if you guys have done that, where you bend the flange over, you kind of make a little peaked diamond-shaped fold in it, you bang it with a hammer, and then you can do that, but I don't know. Seems like screw up more than I fix doing that, so I'm just going to weld it. Alright, anyway, so the results of the repair so far, and I will continue. Alright, so here we are working on the flange. Got this flange here, that's the rear, here's the front. I'm just going to weld that up later. I've got the profile I like. I'll bend that out a little, make it straight. I don't know if you can see, I'm putting more curvature in it with my hammer and dolly to match the other one. You can see the little hit marks. I'm just going down it in stripes, and so that will make the whole metal stretch out in little, like this way. And so that's been helping, I don't know if you can see it there, the profile that I like of that curve. So there it is. I'm trying to get that curve that I like to match the original. So we're just going to continue this. I'll grind these welds. I used my flashlight to look for any holes. I only saw two. I was pretty happy with it. There's one here and one here, but I got to weld that up anyway. So, okay. All right. So there's the finished product. Sorry, choked. The bottom of the fender. I put in the holes. I finished the flange down the side. I finished the wraparound flange and put in the, yeah, there it is. I am pretty happy with that. There's a couple holes. These aren't through holes. It's because I welded from the back. I'll fill this with this skim coat of filler. And well, there it is. So next I will move on to the damage at the front. That'll be my next video, I guess. And it actually doesn't curve like that at the tip. It's just the way I sanded it. So it's actually, the profile's like that. It's an optical illusion, in case anybody's curious. And in case anybody else asks, this is what was in there before. So I am pretty happy with that. Alright guys, yeah, like I said, I'll do the front next, and yeah, I've been able to keep up some momentum, and that's about it. See you next time.
Great cars and a great deal more.